Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Deymar. In this week's Around the Verse, hosted by Chris Roberts with Sandy Gardner, it was all about ships. And first of all, Gerard Huckabee told us about the first new concept ship of the year, the Aegis Vulcan.
The Aegis Vulcan is the first new concept ship for the year, and the developers gave us an extensive look at the ship. Now, bearing in mind that we will get more details when the ship does go on general sale on the 22nd of February, and in next week's Reverse to Verse, the developers will answer some more detailed questions on the ship. So the Aegis Vulcan is actually your starter ship for repairing, rearming and refueling. So basically it fulfills some of the functions of some of the larger ships which are dedicated to those tasks. Now, the Aegis Vulcan has got 3 crew members, and to fulfill its function for rearming, repairing and refueling, it uses 4 drones. Now, the developers told us that it's best to use 2 drones at a time and use the other 2 as backup, but the drones can only perform one function at a time. Now, there is a large drop fuel tank underneath the Vulcan's hull, which of course it uses to refuel other ships. Now, there is a pre-sale for the Aegis Vulcan for concierge level backers, where they can buy the war bond version of the ship for $185, and they get the additional benefit of 2 ship skins and a wearable United Wayfarers Club uniform. We also got a look at some of the ships which are going through the pipeline and in the advanced grey box stage. We had a look at the Constellation Phoenix, which is going to be a very nice looking ship, and we also got a look at the Anvil Hurricane and the Aegis Hammerhead, and also a quick look at the rework of the Mustang. Now, I melted my Mustang quite a while ago, but by the look of the ongoing work on the Mustang, I think I'll be buying one back in the future. Now, we had a quick look at the new enlarged Avenger, where they've had to actually enlarge the landing gear because the size of the ship has increased. Now, there was also an extensive feature on the Anvil Terrapin, which will be flyable in the upcoming 3.1. Now, the Anvil Terrapin is your basic exploration ship, and it does have some unique features, like the ability to use its thrusters to hover in VTOL mode indefinitely. And the Terrapin is a pretty rugged ship as well. But of course, each ship has to have its damage states, and we saw some of the new damage states being implemented for the Anvil Terrapin. Very explosive indeed.
Now, in this week's Reverse to Verse, Dan Truffin and Todd Pappy answered questions put to them from the community via Gerard Huckabee.
I've just picked out a couple of questions from the show, and the first one was on mining. Now, the first implementation of mining will be just mining ore. Mining other things like precious metals and gases and other substances will come later. But basically, mining ore will be the first iteration of mining, and it won't be totally risk-free. With all the gaming mechanics, there will be an element of risk involved. If you actually mine in the wrong place, or you use too much energy in your mining laser, well, things could have an unpleasant outcome.
Todd Pappy and Dan Truffin confirmed that the player and the AI would both have to use the toilet and also keep themselves clean by having the occasional shower. Now, in the case of the player, if he chose to avoid, general cleanliness, the AI may not have anything to do with the player.
Now, at the end of last week, I thought I was going to be basically stranded on Deymar after my constellation of Aquila had a hard landing. Now, also, just after I finished last week's episode and uploaded it to YouTube, my power supply in my main computer actually went bang, and I did fear that some of the other components had gone bang as well. But fortunately, a replacement power supply was all what was needed, and I'm now up and running and back to normal. Now, fortunately as well, my constellation Aquila managed to get back into space and leave the Deymar moon. Despite having pieces hanging off, I made it back to Port Olisar. Now, back at Port Olisar, there was an actual plague of pirate caterpillars which were actually trying to attack the station.
Now, in this week's Calling All Devs, hosted as usual by Gerard Huckabee, called up some devs.
Here's a couple of the most interesting questions put to the developers. First of all, persistence. You should be able to log in and out and reappear at the same location when you log in. Now, this should be in 3.0, but it is a bug, but they're aiming to have it ready for 3.1. Multiple game packages. At the moment, this won't be a thing for 2018. The Banu Merchantman is not being worked on at the moment, and we won't see that ship in 2018. Scanning will have a big part to play in the game, not just scanning for precious minerals, but basically scanning for anomalies. And here's an example of the new ship scanning multifunctional display.
Well, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to like, and also if you'd like to subscribe, it would really help the channel a lot. So until next time, wherever you're watching out in that big universe, you take care, and may you live long and prosper.